Let's start in a quick child's pose. Just grounding yourself at the beginning of this practice. Flowing slowly up, coming on all fours. And let's have some cat-cows, rounding your back. Slowly, on the inhale, cow. Hold it a little bit longer. Draw in your belly for cat. Open up for cow. Cat and cow. And let's come into a puppy pose stretch. So preferably the legs 90 degrees. So as if you stay in the child's pose with the butt up and you stretch your arms forward. You can place your forehead down. My version is a little bit more advanced where you have the chin down and you try to place your chest on the floor. Now if this is too much, back off and just have your forehead on the ground. Breathing, opening up, letting go. And then slowly move forward into Sphinx pose. So come in your forearms and try to open up the chest area. The shoulders are rolled back. Legs are actually engaged so much that the knees are off the floor. But you can keep your butt jiggly. Just opening up your chest. Breathing. And then place your hands underneath your shoulders. Slowly come back into a child's pose and then flow through into a cobra pose, upward facing dog, back into a child's pose. So it's a rounding motion like the wave. Go through with arm strength into an upward facing dog and into a child's pose. Crawl through into a cobra, elbows point backward, shoulder blades together. Hold here. Breathe. A little bit of back strength here. And then push yourself up and into a child's pose. Come into the fingertips, lengthening your back. Lots of length and release of the back. Breathe. Then look forward, come forward into a plank pose. Nice strong plank, which we're going to hold for a few breaths. So become comfortable. Breathe. Stay strong. Warming up your core. Then step forward with the right leg into a high lunge. Keep the back knee off the floor. And then opening up your chest, you can wiggle back and forth a little bit to open up your hip flexors. And then come into the twist. Place down your left arm, right arm up into the air. Make sure your knee is not dropping to the side. Breathe and open up. Twist. And then slowly rolling the arm up and around, forward and up, around and forward. Some shoulder mobility here. Up and placing the hand down, coming a little higher up in the low lunge. Now place your back knee down on the floor. Having your hands on your thigh, sink a little bit deeper, but still keep your core engaged. And if you're ready, you can lift up your arms if you want to. Otherwise, stay with the hands on your thigh. Draw, both hips are facing forward, draw on the belly, and then rolling your arms up, looking up maybe, if you can, and then Grab one wrist and stretch to the side. Side stretch in the low lunge. And you can, it intensifies the stretch for me immensely. Breathing. Keep your knees stable, facing forward. Then place the left hand down on the floor again. And then I push with my right hand, the knee open a little bit. I come on the edge of the foot and come into this kind of twist. Now I'm going to come a little bit further onto my forearm and grab my bag toes. So it's a nice quad stretch. If this is too much, back off and just come into the twist without holding the back leg. Otherwise, breathe and enjoy. Now look down. Maybe you feel this in your neck. And look up. And then placing both hands on the floor, come down all the way onto the forearms. Now, if this is too much, again, stay on your palms of your hands and come into lizard pose. Try to keep your back as straight as you can, and just like in the Sphinx pose that we did before, open up your chest. Now slowly come out of this pose into half splits. Keeping your back straight and looking forward, maybe bending forward. Breathing. Both hip bones are facing forward. Breathe and release. Now slowly come into the low lunge again and placing your foot down so you come into pyramid pose. Bending forward and over the right leg. Breathe. Both hips are facing forward. Belly is drawn in. And then slowly rise up and come into Trikonasana. So this way, your left toes are facing towards the side of the mat and opening up your chest. You want to feel like you're leaning against the wall behind you. Draw on that belly, hold the core. Then look down. Placing both hands on the floor, stepping forward, both legs forward folds. Preparation pose, straight back, maybe hands on the floor or on your calves, and forward folds. Now hold up opposite elbows and just hang here. Placing your weight a little bit forward onto the toes, that it's not only in the heels. Then placing your hands on the floor again, preparation pose. And then step back with the right leg and come into a high lunge. Opening up your chest. Maybe wiggling back and forth just to open up the quad. Hold the pose. Breathe. And then come into the twist, placing your right hand on the floor, opening up the left arm towards the sky. Not so much behind you, but lift it up. Everything is lifted. Maybe look down and look up, and you're going to roll your arm, circle your arm forward, nice circle, and back for some shoulder mobility, nice and slow. Open it up and down. Placing both hands on the floor, placing the right knee on the floor, placing your hands on your calves, opening up that chest nice and tall. Draw on the belly. The right hip is really facing forward, and then maybe you're ready to lift up. Maybe you're even looking up towards your hands. And arms circling around to the side, lift them up again. And let's do the lateral stretch to the left side. It intensifies the stretch, deepens it somehow. Breathe. Strong legs. And then placing your right hand down on the floor again. Push with the left leg, the knee to the side, come on the edge of your foot. And then come into the nice twist here. If this is enough for you, stay here. Otherwise, you can come on the forearm down, twist again, and maybe grabbing the right foot. And if it's too much, always back off, listen to your body. Now look down and look up for a little neck stretch. Breathing. And then place both hands on the floor and come into half splits, half Hanumanasana. Stay straight in your back as much as you can. And then maybe fold forward. But again, keep your back straight. Belly button is always drawn in. Both hips are facing forward. Flex your toes to intensify the stretch even further. And then look up, come into low lunge again, up onto your foot, a little bit angled out and into pyramid pose. Folding forward over the left leg, right hip is leveled with the left hip. Both are facing forward, belly drawn in. And then step the right foot out a little bit and come into Trikonasana. I have my hands on my foot. You can have it higher up on your calf. And you can look down and up. Have that feeling you're leaning against the wall behind you. Your core is really engaged here. Don't place all the weight onto the hand. And then come down, step back into a plank. Hold the plank and then placing knee, chest, and chin on the floor. You can always have your forehead on the floor as well. But if you can, placing your chin down. Stay here. Elbows are pointing upward. And then maybe you can interlace your hands behind your back. Really opening up. It's a little worm. And then placing your hands underneath your shoulders and come through into Cobra pose. And then come into the forearms again into Sphinx pose. Opening up the chest, breathing, engaging your legs so much that your knees are lifted off the floor. Then slowly rise up, come into a child's pose. Fingers in front, come onto the fingertips. Straight arms, long back. Release your hips further down. Look up and forward, come into all fours. And then into a downward facing dog. Maybe walking your dog at first, draw on the belly again, then bending your knees and straightening them as much as you can. Draw on your belly, finding lots of length in the back. Then look forward, come forward into a seated position. The left leg is extended. The right leg, foot comes against your inner thigh. And then come into a nice forward fold. You can grab your foot. You can have your hands on your calf. Try to draw in that belly, make space, and keep a little bit of the back straight. Make sure your foot is not falling to one side. Relax and release. Release your shoulders, the muscles of your face. And then maybe intensify the stretch when you grab your toes and draw them towards you. Point. If you cannot help and push your point, you do it without the help of the hands. And then come into an easy twist in this pose. Point the toe, the front toe, and twist at the same time. So keep your awareness in the front leg as well. And then come out of the pose and let's switch sides. First, come into the forward fold. Grab whatever you can. Place your hands on your knee, on your calf, around your foot, and release. Draw on your belly button, finding room in your belly and your pelvic area. Breathe. Now look up and maybe intensify the stretch by holding your toes and drawing them towards you. So you're flexing your toes and you point them. Maybe you help a little bit with your hands, the stretch. Maybe not. That's okay. And then come into a nice, easy twist over to the left side, pointing your right toe. Really try to keep your spine as straight as you can. Holding the tension, but also at the same time releasing. And then move out of this pose. Placing your hands on the floor and coming into cat-cows again. In your own time and to connect it with your own breath, draw on that belly button and then release. And then come into a toe seat. So all your toes are on the floor and you're sitting on your heels. If you can, grab around your foot, grabbing it and then moving forward. So I'm holding on to my foot and placing my top of my head down as if I'm into a headstand. This is the rabbit. So this is a good thing. If you don't want to do a headstand, you can do this. And you don't have to place all the weight onto the head. You can really hold yourself up. Slowly lift out of this pose and let's come into Malasana. Toes are pointing in the same direction as your knees. Elbows against your knees, opening up your knees. Back is as straight as you can. And your shoulders are down and relaxed. Open up to one side, nice opening, twist in the Malasana, and maybe you stay here or you bind around the left leg. Opening up, twisting, breathing. And let's come into the middle again and switch sides. Placing the right hand on the floor, left arm lifts up into a nice twist in the Malasana. And if you're ready, you bind. If it's too much, you can always come out of this pose. Maybe you look up, but you don't have to. Relax and release. Now come to the middle again, Malasana. Hands in front of your heart, and then place the hands down on the floor into a forward fold with the legs together. Grab opposite elbows and hang here. Weight a little bit forward into your toes, not all on your heels. Drawing in your belly, making lots of space and room. Now place your hands back onto the floor, move forward with the legs and the arms and come into plank through chaturanga, upward facing dog, nice opening up of the chest. Look over one shoulder here in the upward facing dog and then over the other shoulder. Come back into the middle again. And then move your hips back into a child's pose with extended arms onto the fingertips. And then come back with your arms, placing the whole entire lower arm to the back. Relaxing your shoulders now and releasing. Breathing deeply. Relax. And then slowly move up. Come into a seated position, and we are actually ready for Savasana. After the Savasana, we're going to come into a breathing exercise, but now we're all going to let go and relax. So in Savasana, we're going to pray the act of love. And think about this, if this is true for you, and if you can apply it to your life. Pray with me. Oh my God, I love you above all things, with my whole heart and soul, because you are all good and worthy of all love. I love my neighbor as myself, for the love of you. I forgive all who have injured me, and I ask pardon of all whom I have injured. Amen. And then slowly come back to your body, stretch yourself out, and slowly draw in the knees into your chest. Maybe wiggling from side to side. And then roll over one side and come into a seated position. Make yourself comfortable. And let's roll out your upper body. Nice, sweet, small rolls, isolating the upper body, rounding, and then making the circles big. Both hip bones stay on the floor. Make them big, releasing all tensions from the shoulders, from your hips. And then lateral stretch to the side. Keeping your shoulders open, both sit bones on the floor. And then look down, stretching your neck. Switch legs and roll to the other side. First, small circles, isolating your upper body. And now the entire hip area as well. Big circles and lateral stretch to the other side. Keep the shoulder back and open. And look down for a nice neck stretch. Come seated upright. And let's inhale, following my lead. Inhale, inhale, inhale. And exhale. You can follow my hand. When I draw up, inhale light. And exhale darkness. Inhale light. Slow exhalation, exhale darkness. Inhaling light. Exhaling darkness. Inhaling light. Exhaling darkness. Inhaling light. Exhaling darkness. Placing the hands in your lap. Take a moment. See how you feel. Placing this morning, this day, this night into the hands of God. Listening. And slowly flutter your eyes open, lift up your arms one more time. Big inhale, big exhale. Again, big inhale, big exhale. Last time, big inhale, big exhale. May God bless you. Thank you for practicing with me. Till next time.